homeless people with no place to stay, so we must
Welcome to the 100th Monkey Radio with Tom and LFE. We are recording this on November 9th of 2015. And, you know, last month, I don't know if I mentioned it in any of the shows or not, but it was the 11th and 12th of last month, I think it was. Mm-hmm. And I had just a tremendous tone pop into my head. You know, I've had these tones come on and off, you know, throughout the years where sometimes they're really intense and sometimes they happen, you know, during meditations or when something's happening, and you know, I've started to really tie them into some of the energies that are flowing around me. And last month, the 11th and 12th, the tones just got really incredibly loud in my left ear in particular, and I took note of it, and I was like, wow, this is, and I told you, Alfie, about it, and I was like, wow, this is really intense, and it lasted for almost 2 days. And there was some raising and lowering of the intensity, and kind of a little bit of a wave that happened as far as how intense it was.
It was a constant buzz.
But it was a constant tone the whole 2 days. And so then, you know, after a couple of days, it kind of faded back to the normal background toning that I'm able to focus in on. And I was like, okay, well, I took note of it. I kind of looked out at things that were happening in the world, you know, the standard drama and traumas of, you know, the
day-to-day
news of what's going on the planet. Nothing really major really jumped out at me, but then I was like, okay, well, I took note of it. And then today, or actually it was last night, yesterday afternoon, about 4 o'clock, the tone, it was just like, boom, here I am. The tone was back, and it came in with a really loud, high-pitched tone. And I was like, whoa, okay, there's that same tone again. And so I took note of the date, and I decided to start looking at some calendars and seeing what, you know, well, the first thing popped into my head is, wow, that was almost exactly a month ago. Yeah. And so I looked at the calendar, and I was like, wow, that was 28 days ago. And so I opened up one of the moon cycle calendars, and I was taking a look at what cycle we were in, and we were, last month it was the 2 days just prior to the new moon that the tones happened, and then it was the day of the new moon that they subsided. And then again, here we are, 2 days before the new moon, and the tones are back again. So, you know, I've never really charted this or written this down and really paid a lot of attention to the actual date and the time frames that these tones come to me. But this is going to be an interesting experiment. Yeah. I mean, to see if there's something that I'm picking up that is associated with the moon cycles. So, anyways, I figured I'd throw that out there, and we will let you guys keep you guys posted next month. Right at the new moon, we'll see if it pops up again. And well, actually, I'll be really curious to see if on the 11th if it actually subsides like it did last month on the new moon. So it was pretty interesting.
Yeah, it might be interesting too for if any of our guests or any of our guests or our listeners, you know, have noticed anything like that. If they, you know, want to email us and let us know about their experiences too.
Absolutely, that'd be cool to find out. All right, well, we have a treat for you guys tonight. I am just excited as all get out for our show. I came across this lady back in the late 80s, and I have nothing but absolute respect for the work that she's done and gratitude for the work that she's done. She's been out in the woo world for a long time. and she's done a tremendous amount of work, and she's well recognized. We have with us tonight Elizabeth Joyce. She was born as one of two sets of identical twins. She has been a psychic since birth. Named one of the world's greatest psychics by Citadel Press in 2004, she's profiled in 12 books. She's a spiritual healer and gives personal psychic readings worldwide. Miss Joyce is a professional astrologer, spiritual counselor, energy healer, medium, and clairvoyant who interprets dreams and teaches the new energies of the fifth dimension. Elizabeth has been a writer and columnist for 30 years and is currently writing astrology columns for Wisdom Magazine and Toti Publishing. Her articles have appeared in the New York Daily News and the New York Times. She's a spiritual healer and gives personal readings worldwide. Elizabeth has been teaching metaphysical classes for the past 30 years. In 1986, just before the Harmonic Convergence, she was blessed to be initiated into the Hopi Tribe by grandfather. She was just nominated into the 2010 edition of the Stanford Who's Who in Metaphysics for her spiritual healing work and focus on community service. She was just included in the revised book, America's Top 100 Psychics in 2014. Elizabeth has studied with Margaret Stetner, Rita Ivy, Louise Hay, Dr. Deepak Chopra, Yogi Bhajan. Did I say that right? I always have such a hard time with the Indian names. Mark Tremblay and Amachi, the Hugging Saint. She is trained with Dr. Eric Pearl and is a reconnective healer. She's also a licensed minister. One of the very few psychics worldwide that picked up on the Haitian earthquake, the Philippines earthquake, tornadoes, and the Twin Towers tragedy in New York City. Thousands of people have witnessed Elizabeth Joyce's incredible psychic powers on TV shows such as Unsolved Mysteries, Beyond Chance, and The Psychic Detectives, as well as CNN News. She's a frequent guest on many radio shows, along with now the 100th Monkey Radio. Her website is www.new-visions, that's with an S.com. And I want to give you a big, warm 100th Monkey welcome to our show, Elizabeth Joyce.
Yay!
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to be here, Tom. By the way, I have the answer to your new moon question.
Oh, wonderful. I would love to hear.
I know exactly what it is. And, of course, it would be spelled out in two of my books. One is the new Spiritual Chakras, and the other one is Ascension, Accessing the Fifth Dimension. I'm going to tell you what's going on with you. You are being opened up to a higher level vibration. I don't know if you've had any vivid dreams or if you feel your power's increasing, because as this energy comes in, it's going to increase your power. So it would come in for 3 days before the new moon, and then it would stop, and then the energy that got sifted into your body from your new fourth aura would work through your body for the whole month, and then you would be replenished. And for this next month, when is your birthday?
November 2nd.
Oh, you have to be a Scorpio.
Oh,
Either that or you had to be a Libra. So you must have something in Libra, probably a rising sign or a moon. I don't know your chart, but it's hitting you, and it's wonderful. Just open up to it. And, of course, the way to access all of that is through meditation, which is spelled out in my book, how to do that.
I have definitely noted myself, my gifts growing.
Yeah, they are.
I've definitely noted that. And it seems like this year has been really remarkable for the accuracy and the intensity of the impressions that I'm.
Right. Do you have my book?
I do.
On the back cover is a chart.
Yes.
And I drew that chart, and it has all of the new chakras, 12 chakras. It has what their colors are. It has the sutras, which are the words that you repeat to make your chakra stronger or to spin correctly. And it also tells you what your gifts are as the chakra opens. I think it's pretty neat.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of information here. We're talking tonight about her new book, The New Spiritual Chakras, which the whole chakra system is, there's a lot of
Mixed reviews.
Mixed reviews. That's a good way to put it, I suppose. But as far as what the chakra systems and their how we use them, and their real validity within our being. I'm pretty sensitive to energy, and I actually like the chakra system just because it we have to label this energy something, right?
Well, let me ask you a question, Tom.
Certainly.
Do you like your stomach? Do you like your kidneys? Do you like your bladder? Because that's what the chakras are. They're a muscle.
Yeah.
And they are etheric, and they keep us alive. They keep us connected to our source. They keep us connected to what I call the divine energy of the universe. Some people call it chi, some people call it Shakti, whatever you call it. But every single day when you wake up, you come back from your dream state or your soul school state filled with new energy. And then you use that energy throughout the day. Maybe you never go to a gas station. Maybe you do run out of gas. But in order for you to fill up, you've got to work your chakras, or at least know that they're there spinning for you.
Right. Well, then what about everybody? All these people out there are completely oblivious to them. I mean, is it an autopilot actually?
Oh, yes. Cats, dogs, birds, everybody has chakras. They would not be able to be alive if they didn't. And I know that there are doctors that have verified the chakras, but of course to me it's not arguable. You have them, either they're open for you or they're not. And if they're not, that's your choice. Everybody has choice, and the whole focus that I'm trying to show people is that we do have choices, we make choices, and if we can make them from a self-contained, assured, neutral state, our lives will get better. But most people react from emotions and fear. And if you learn how not to do that, you will absolutely grow spiritually. It's incredible to know that. So it's how you use the energy that counts.
Right. Oh, I agree 100% with that. Now, I've actually used the chakra system myself, and
Used it or worked it?
I do use it.
You work them?
No, actually, I've got my own. I use my own methods. Okay, I've adopted through a lot of different places of study and research.
So you have a meditation practice that works your chakras. That's what you're saying, correct?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, and that's called working your chakras, because you use your chakras inadvertently all day long. You never know which one you're using. But yes, it's nice to sit and meditate. It's 3 times a week minimum, and work your chakras and get them so that they are spinning and in balance. Right.
I agree. There's definitely value there on the path, for sure. Now, I'm very familiar with the primary 7 that everybody else knows about.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this book you put out here, The New Spiritual Chakras, and I've always had a sense that there was, more, and I think there's many more.
I do too.
So, but there's another way to look at those two, or just like energies that we have access to.
But they're contained energies, and they do have certain colors to our knowledge on this earth. So you need to write something that people will relate to. And according to my information, the new chakras are going to help us get familiar with and get stronger working our etheric body, which is now called the universal body. So what you're doing is you're expanding your knowledge, and as you see, the chakras don't go in a straight line. The 8th chakra is above you, the 8.5 is behind your head, right behind your baby spot, and the 9th chakra is between the 2 occipital bones in the back of your head. And when that starts to activate, then there's a laser light that goes from the 9th through the brain, to the third eye, and it pierces the pituitary and pineal glands. So that in front of the third eye, if everybody listening puts their hand in front of their third eye and vibrates it a little bit, you might feel that power starting to grow. And that's going to be your point of power. And the healing of people is going to shift from your hands up to the third eye. It's going to take time, and it's going to take years, I'm sure, for this to develop, because it's brand new. It just came in on 2012.
Right, and that's exactly where my next question was going to go. Is you're calling these the new spiritual chakras. I believe that they've always been there.
They have been.
There's a certain what happened at 2012 in December 21st, 2012.
I can tell you exactly what happened. The universe opened up, the galaxy opened up, and we were in this solar system, not just here, able to access something called the double helix. And the double helix has the higher vibratory energies, higher music, higher toning, which is why you're having the ringing in your ears, because your body, the fourth level of your aura, is bringing forth that new energy to improve you, to balance you, and to lift you upwards. So now we can work these chakras. I call them the new spiritual chakras because the main society doesn't know them. But what I believe is back in Tibet, when the monks would go sit in a cave and meditate all day long, that's what they were doing, working with their chakras. I also believe these chakras were here in Egypt and in Atlantis, but they were secret. They were part of the secret initiation societies. Now it's here for everyone. Isn't that fabulous?
Yeah, it definitely is. So would you, I want all our listeners to understand exactly what all these chakras are, at least the primary, functions, maybe the colors, their, primary properties, associated with them. And we start with, you go from, we have our main 7, and then from there you go to 8, 8.5, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Can we start with 8?
Actually, you start with the foot chakra.
0.
We have 2, right? Yeah, the 0. We have 2 in our feet, and they are from, to help you ground. Their color is hunter green, and they are here to help us ground to the earth while we're working with the chakra system, the new chakra system, so we don't go flying everywhere or levitate before we're ready to. I think this is the key to levitation. I think that's the next thing we're going to be getting really good at.
That would be.
And so it starts with the 2-foot chakra, then you go to the base chakra, the root chakra, which is red, and that is your generator in life. That's where we hold our life force energy, known as the Kundalini energy. And some people open up that Kundalini energy during a lifetime, and some people don't. And the next chakra after that is the spleen chakra, or the second chakra. The color is orange, and this is our reproduction chakra, but it's also the chakra that brings us our creativity. This is where we get our ideas from so that we can birth a new project. The next chakra, the solar plexus chakra, is very interesting because it's no longer yellow, it's green. It's the Irish green is what I call it. And that is where we have our willpower, our gut feeling reaction, and this is where we act out of. It's ruled by Mars, and it's male creative force. So we rule out of our solar plexus chakra. Sometimes we don't listen to the warnings that we get, and sometimes we do. The next chakra, the 4th chakra, is the heart center. The color is a golden yellow light, and it's absolutely beautiful. It brings us love, peace, harmony, and laughter. That's the heart center. And the heart center is the place to forgive, to really let go those emotional things that bother us and hold us back from expanding. The throat chakra is a baby blue or a beautiful sky blue, and that's the center of our voice. And we're the only animal that can communicate the way that we do. We talk, we think, we write. We do those 3 things. And that's what gives us a society and a unity. And I call it the mother chakra because this is where we can give kindness through words. And it brings us discernment. It also brings us affluence and abundance. But it brings us discernment. Be careful of what you say and always try to talk with love if you can. Then the third eye is next. That's the sixth chakra, and that's indigo. And the reason that it's indigo is because that's the color of karma. So the third eye is like a filter that won't let you go beyond your karmic length, your karmic duties. And how many people do we know that spend years and years and years meditating, trying to break through that karma? The third eye is now going to be the place. We have a new third eye. The third eye is now going to be a place where people are going to be able to be free. So it brings us knowledge, it brings us wisdom, and it brings us freedom. From the third eye is where you have your out-of-body experience, where you have your astral projection, and where you take flight, as they say, with your universal body. And the third eye eventually is going to change into white light, but right now it is at the karma center. Because we're on the planet Earth, and the planet Earth is a duality planet, so therefore we have to work through our karma. Now, the crown center on top of the head has 7 lotus blossoms, and the color is violet, or a beautiful purple. And it is the way, it is the opening to the universe. So it brings us bliss, it brings us immortality, it brings us infinity, because through the crown chakra is where we pull in the Shakti energy down the chakra line. And as that energy starts to come into our body, something happens with the root chakra. It starts to spin, the Kundalini energy recognizes it, and it reaches up towards it. You know, getting to God sometimes can feel just beyond our reach. So the Kundalini starts to move up. As the 2 snakes, as you see on the medical insignia, and it moves up, and supposedly the Shakti energy and the Kundalini energy meet at the heart center. And when that happens, you experience something called nirvana. And nirvana is a state of bliss that is beyond any drug you could ever take. It's absolutely fabulous. And when you go through nirvana, all of your corpuscles and all of your cellular memory is shaken up, and new doorways are open to some of your past lives so that you can bring forth new talents, new wisdom, new growth. The 8th chakra is above the head about 8 feet, and it represents a clear quartz crystal. So it is the go-between between the spiritual chakras and the physical chakras. And it brings you psychic sensitivity, it brings you a desire for service, it brings you compassion, and it brings you a higher ego so that you want to be in service for others instead of always worrying about yourself or your kids or your family. You really want to go out into the world more. Behind your head is the 8.5 chakra, that color is amber, and this is where the angels are, and they make sure, they filter you, and they make sure that you do not bring in from that 4th level of the aura any more of the new energy than your body can stand. And sometimes it can be completely closed in people. They're not ready to receive the energy yet. So that's and this opens the spine for your higher vibrations. That's what the 8.5 chakra does. Now the 9th chakra is magenta. And you know something, Tom? The newest colors have been magenta. Have you noticed it all?
Yeah, actually, I was just had some magenta paint in my hand yesterday.
Oh, fun. The new cars are magenta. Some of the new fashions for the ladies are magenta. And magenta is the 9th chakra. And this unlocks your spiritual skills. It brings you your Akashic records, knowledge of your Akashic records, so that if there's anything that you were really good in at a past life that you can't do now, or that you're not aware that you've done before, they will open a desire to learn how to do that. It also can make you extremely psychic and extremely gifted healer when that ninth chakra is going, because you are coming from pure love. And you will begin to be seeing shadows around people. You'll begin to see their aura. You won't need a machine to do it. And you begin to understand some of their pain and some of the places where they are stuck. That's the ninth chakra. Then you go up to the 10th chakra, which is my very favorite, very favorite, very favorite. The color is amber, and it is the heart center of the universal body. So what I've been experimenting with and what's been working for me is running a rainbow from the 10th chakra to my heart chakra and then back up again. So it's like a circle.
Right.
And that opens the heart. So you've got the yellow and the amber mixture, which is an interesting combination. And it starts to open the heart to a higher understanding of love. The 11th chakra is the mother. Its color is a beautiful aqua. And this is a soul healing and unity. So that the soul that we have sometimes is still weeping over past lives that haven't been cured. Or sometimes they're just weeping over the state of this planet with all of its darkness and cruelty. So it brings in the mother. Everything is all right. Everything is always going to be all right, and I am protecting you. I am protecting you, and I am with you. Then the 12th chakra is the dwelling place of all the masters. Not the angels, not the guides. The masters are at the 12th chakra. That is the diamond. The sign is infinity. And it is the truly opening and completion of the universal body. And when your 12th chakra opens, you have really attained ascension. So they're beautiful, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
So, yeah, I got a quick question. So we got our 7 chakras and our 0 chakra. Why is the 8th chakra an 8 and an 8.5?
Okay, the 8, they are not the same. They are different. The 8.5 chakra was placed there as a filter, like a coffee filter. You don't want grounds of your coffee in your coffee. You have to have a filter so that that doesn't go into the coffee. It's a protection. It's only a protection so that you won't bring in, if you know people, you know that they want it all right now.
Oh, yeah.
I keep telling them we're not at McDonald's. But they won't listen. So they try to sit and get just to prove that they can do it or whatever the reason is. It's always the ego. This stops you from being able to do that. It stops you from burning out or hurting your body because this energy is new. The double helix and this new energy is brand new, and we have to allow ourselves to mature so that we don't take on too much. You know about electricity.
Yeah.
If you put a 110 into a 220 volt, you're going to burn it out.
Oh,
Same thing.
Okay.
So I kind of see the all the way up through to the 8.5 again. Is this like a something that was now I said that this is where you say this is where like the angels and the guides reside and assist us through, and they work as that filter. So would this be something that is was sort of added in at a certain point, maybe at that 2012 point to help to filter these new energies? Or
you know what, you might be right. Let me tell you why you might be right. I wrote what I received, of course, what I opened up and received from the universe. But there's a lady in India that gave me this information, and her name is Amrita Mai. She's known as the Hugging Saint, and she's the one that had me write the book. And as I was writing about the 8.5 chakra, she announced to the ashram that there was a brand new chakra being put into place called the 8.5 chakra. So that very well could be true. And maybe it's only temporary until we get acclimated to the new energies.
Right. Yeah, as you were describing it, I kind of saw this as, okay, well, this is the angelic host, their effort to help us on this path.
Yep.
And it's coming through, and we see it and are able to interpret it better as a chakra.
That could be very true.
Yeah.
That could be very true.
So I know so many people, they struggle with the traditional 7, getting those all open and flowing correctly and beneficial.
If you work them every day, they'll open and flow correctly. As a matter of fact, I do want to mention, Tom, that I created something in 1993, which I consider to be my best work. I created something called the Chakras and Your Body. It's a meditation. Have you heard of Richard Schulman? Do you know Richard, the wonderful musician?
I do not.
Okay, well, he's very, very, very well known, and he does spiritual music, and he is the one that made this MP3 file with me. It's called The Chakras and Your Body, and if you listen to it every single day for 4 months, your third eye will open, and it balances your body. It's absolutely beautiful, and there you go with the toning, Tom. You know about toning, so we have toning on this recording, as well as the guided meditation. And it's stunning. It's more than stunning. So maybe that will help people.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I was writing this down. The Chakras in Your Body.
Correct. And you can get it on my website, www.new-visions.com. There's a list on the left of things that are on the website. One is called the Chakras. And you can go in and you can look at the chakras and you can read about them. And there's 2 things you can access. The chakras in your body, that's what you need to begin with if you have not had flowing chakras before. Right. I also recorded the new invocation for the planet called Accessing the Spiritual Chakras. It's very, very powerful. And that takes you up to the 12th chakra. So they're both available, and Richard Schulman supplies the music and the toning to it. And it was my honor to do that with him.
Oh, fantastic. I will definitely be checking that out myself. So if you don't have a firm grasp of the traditional 7 chakras and a working knowledge and have integrated at least to some state of competency with them, is it advisable to progress past that into these new chakras and start working with them?
No. If you don't have your chakras flowing, you want to get them going first. It takes about 4 to 6 months. And then you want to start adding in the spiritual chakras. Remember, we're not at McDonald's. It's got to be done in order. If it isn't, you could have divine headaches. You could feel very, very off center, and a lot of things could happen that you don't want to happen. Right.
So you've likened these new chakras to the universal body. Is that correct?
Yes. They are the universal body.
Would you describe the universal body for me?
Sure. The universal body is your double. Years ago, when I was studying with Yogi Bhajan, he taught us about the universal body and said that's the 3.5 pounds that leaves the body when we die. Every single human being, when they die, lose 3.5 pounds. That's the universal body leaving the shell of the body that they've used for this lifetime and returning back to their pod, to their soul school. So you can work with this universal body, which is the extension between the physical body and the blessed higher self of the soul. When you strengthen the universal body with your third eye and with your 9th chakra together in harmony, you can send it anywhere around the world. For example, if I'm giving a reading in New York and I'm on the phone with someone in Australia, how could I possibly say to them, you just reached over and petted your brand new golden retriever dog. How do you like your dog? When the lady almost fell off the chair. But I could see her do it with my universal body. Now this I was born with. This has been me my whole life. Heaven knows why. But that's what the universal body is. The universal body is the seer of space and matter beyond the physical body. So that if you have a parent in the hospital and you're praying for them and you feel yourself either in a dream state or in an altered state at the hospital working on their energy, that's your universal body doing that.
There we go.
And when he taught us that when you stand in front of your universal body and you ask that energy to enter your physical body and you stand there for about 10 minutes, you will heal. The universal body is perfect.
Right.
The problem with it is that people don't have enough faith, enough strength, enough stamina to wait it out and to do that exercise.
With so many other things in this world today.
Well, they either don't believe it, or they don't want to do it, or they want somebody to do it for them, or whatever it is. But you can work with your universal body, and you can get very, very good with it. And I was joking before about levitation. I really think that as we work these spiritual chakras 30 years from now, two things are going to happen as we evolve. One is going to be levitation, and the other one is going to be telepathy. We're going to get more and more telepathic. I know we are getting very good now, but it's going to improve even more.
I'm waiting for the day where that, well, for lack of a better term, teleportation. I've actually heard.
Teleportation is working with the universal body.
Right.
I know that you want to take the physical body. They say that, I don't know if you know, but they say down in San Diego, they have a machine that they're doing between San Diego and Brazil, and that they have teleported people.
Right, yeah. I think that there's, when I look at all of reality and just with what I know for myself, that we are in basically consciousness animating matter, to me it seems completely conceivable and within our realm of possibility to teleport ourselves, to transmit our consciousness into another location of our choosing and manifest our body there.
Well, this is what I think will happen in the future, Tom. I think that the universal body is going to get strong enough. Suppose that I wanted to go to London for the weekend. I didn't want to pay airfare. So I'd go put myself in the middle of Harrods with my universal body. And then I would turn towards New York, and I would bring my physical body over. That's how I see it.
Yeah.
That once the universal body is there, it can call the physical body over. To me, that's teleportation.
Right.
Isn't that neat?
It is. I'm really optimistic about our future right now. I mean, there's so many things happening on the planet, with consciousness.
Yeah, there is. It's wonderful.
That it's wow, what an exciting time to be here.
Well, they say that when Christ was gone for that 33 years, that he went all over the world, and that the way he traveled was teleportation. It is said that he studied in the Himalayas with Babaji. It is said that he walked with the Vikings. It is said that he was up at the island between Russia and Alaska. And when you do archaeological digs everywhere in the world, they will find a cross.
Right.
So you wonder about how that all got there and how it happened. When when you're digging it up and you know it's 2,000 years old, how did it get there and how did the people know?
Well, geez, look at the Book of Mormon. I mean, they talk about him being here in the Americas.
That's true. Oh, I think that that's all true.
Oh, yes.
It's certainly possible now that these spiritual chakras have come back to us and we're able to work them as human beings. We're going to have a lot of inner realization that some of these fables and some of these stories could quite possibly be true.
Yeah.
So were these other the rest of the 12 chakras, were they not with us, or were they just not
they're with us, but they were dormant, not accessible. Good.
Yeah.
And some people, don't forget, some people are not even accessing the original 7 body chakras. They're not accessing them. They don't believe in them. They're closed down. They're hard. They're dark. You know there are people like that.
Oh, God.
They don't want light. They don't want to know about good things. They just want to manipulate, control, and harm. That's the way there are some people. They're closed down. But then there are the magnificent ones that are really growing in their truth and growing as healers and psychics and people that can make a difference in other people's lives and be here to truly help somebody. And that's wonderful. I think it's fabulous. And I think we need more and more of it. Do you not agree?
Oh, for sure, definitely.
Absolutely. So we determined that December 21st is when all these things sort of came online for our ability to access them.
Well, you know, it's funny because you told me that these new energies you felt in October, November were 3 days long. Well, this accessing really started in June of 2012, and there was 2 arcs made from the summer solstice to the winter solstice, and then the fall equinox was another part of the arc, and the actual second that this came in was December 22nd at noontime. I did some math, and I wanted to figure out where the middle of the arc was. If I started at midnight on the 20th of December, and I went until dawn of the 23rd, and I got noontime on the 22nd. So I made myself available to high meditation on that day, and I meditated for 4 hours straight, 2 before and 2 after, and the energy was incredible. Incredible. So I think that's when it came in. Just for specifics, I wanted to let you know that energy comes in at a certain time, and math is a part of it.
Yeah. I had an interesting experience in that time frame myself. On the 20th, my senses were just going crazy as far as what I was perceiving from the energy that was around was so chaotic, so much fear. I mean, it was a mixture of fear, hope, dread, anticipation, and
That's
it was
true.
absolutely intense. And then when I got up the morning of the 21st, it was like the calmest I have ever felt
Peaceful.
the energy in my
Yeah,
life.
sure. That's the double helix. I can't describe to you what this energy feels like. It not only takes away your aches and pains, it takes away your fears, your troubles, your anger, and it just puts you in a state of bliss and neutrality. And you know that you're a living being, you know you're a part of the universe, you know you're in oneness, and you know that you're here to do something specific. We all have a mission. We all have something specific to do.
Yeah.
And I have a brand new mantra for everybody, if you'd let me share it.
Absolutely.
This is my new 2012 mantra. I choose love, life, and alignment with the flow of God's plan.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
It's pretty powerful. It's
Yeah,
good.
definitely, can be very powerful for people.
I'll say it again. I choose love, life, and alignment in the flow of God's plan.
Like that.
Now, alignment is a word that also means acceptance and surrender. If you're aligning with God's plan, then you're not going to be afraid to go anywhere you're led. And everything that you need will be given to you. And you feel the oneness. And Deepak Chopra teaches that which I deserve is already mine. So it's just a whole different way of thinking. And it takes away anxiety and stress. Do you hear that, Tom?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, it's striking when I think back on how I was before all of this started in the 80s for me. You know, the way my daily grind went in my mind, the stresses and the fears and the angst that I was always in prior to my wake up, and the first couple of years I won't count, but after I got some kind of a balance on myself, it's just absolutely amazing the difference that my own personal consciousness took. It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal, especially when you start working with these energies, with these chakras, and you start lighting stuff up in your life.
And you're never done.
Oh, God, no.
We've lived too many lifetimes. But it's funny because I have this thing where I divide myself in half and I've got used to do that, now I do this. Oh, that's what I used to do, now I do this. You know, when you come from a place of anger or impatience and you're not doing that anymore, you can laugh because you know that's what you used to do. And it's a real good feeling, isn't it?
I throw flags.
You throw flags?
I throw flags, you know, like in a football game, you know, they throw a flag for a foul. Whenever I step out of, you know, what I know I really want to do, or what I really want to do in a situation, and I react, you know, if I get into that 3D programming and I have one of those emotional outburst reaction things, I throw a flag. And,
yeah, we do that, don't we?
Oh God. I check myself up and go, okay, that's not really what I want, is it? And then that gives me something to work with as far as, okay, what caused that? Why did I react?
How did I bring that to myself?
Exactly.
That's a Louise Hay thing that she taught us years ago. When you're angry, when you're upset, you know that that person in front of you is an angel, and every single person you meet comes into your life at your command. That's natural law. So she says, when you have an upset, you're 50% responsible, and the first thing you need to ask yourself is, how did I bring that to myself?
Yep.
And this has to do with our subconscious and conscious choices. Everything is choice. Even birth is choice.
Okay, so, where do we go? I mean, there's a lot of places we could go here. I don't want to go too far out right at the moment, though. How about the universal heart? Now, you said that is your most favorite of
the 10th chakra. Yes, I'm
chakra.
having fun getting to know that.
Yeah. So this is like, you know, I'm most people, especially the people that be listening to this show, are very familiar with the chakra systems and understand the heart chakra and how much joy we have when we center ourselves there and really work that chakra. I mean, it's an absolutely amazing place to spend some time. The 10th chakra, what's it like, in comparison to, the heart chakra?
Well, the 10th chakra is, it's energy, and it's an energy that is absolutely accessing the double helix at the center of our galaxy. And what it does is it opens up a sense of other places, other people, other worlds. It opens up a sense of everything was created actually to love. And it shows you how to love more in this plane. That's the exciting part. It shows you how to understand, how to step back, how to look at why another person had the response they had that made you angry, and how to dissolve your anger with the compassion of understanding where they are. We have to honor people where they are. We can't bring a third dimension person into the fifth dimension because it would kill them. We can't expect people to grow at the rate where we're growing, especially if they're not in service or in this work. We have to honor them where they are. Now, that doesn't mean that we have to act the way they do. That means we have to love them.
That's a big one right there.
Yep. That's what the 10th chakra brings. You know, you hear all these New Age people doing healing work, doing readings, doing everything else, but they hate their parents, they hate their husband, they don't like where they are, they want to move, they never have money, they never have this, they never have that. All that's gone. All that's gone, Tom. If you're going to do the work, you have everything you need. If you're going to do the work, everything flows. Everything comes to me and flows through me and back out to do the good. And we don't need some of the things that people are hanging on to as their truth anymore. We don't need to have to do the reconnection, for example. We don't need to have to go and sit and listen to somebody else lecture and tell us how to be. We go and we hear these lectures from these great people that can teach, but they're telling us how to be, what we need to do to lose weight, what we need to do to get closer to God, what we need to do to remain pleasant, what we need to do to drop an addiction. Work with the 10th chakra, and all of that will be worked out for you. I know that sounds strange. It's not easy. It's going to take a lot of years to do it, but that's what we have coming.
Yeah, we were just talking about that exact same thing. The ability to accept somebody where they're at on their path, regardless of how many buttons they're trying to push within it.
Oh, and do they push the buttons?
Oh God, yes.
I think one of the worst things that's going on right now is the cruelty on the internet and the way that everybody is bashed. They will say the cruelest things about somebody who's anonymous, and the only reason they're doing it is because they have their own anger and they want to hit somebody and they can't, so they do it when they're playing cards on the internet or when they're on Facebook or when somebody says something negative, they team up. Oh, I'm going to be your friend. I'm going to say they're negative too. That type of thing. None of that is love.
Right.
All of that is fear and anger. And I think that the kids in high school and all the bashing that they go through, harassment, it's terrible.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm optimistic that all of that is going to change as the rest of us continue to change.
Oh, I think it will. But you asked me about the 10th chakra,
Right.
and I see the 10th chakra melting all of these tendencies
Hmm.
because it's so powerful.
Yeah. We got to hit that critical mass, that 100th monkey with people on the 10th chakra.
Neat. It reminds me of when the Great Sea opened with Moses, and then it started to close, and the soldiers got down on their knees and started to pray, which is something they had never done. And that ocean came back over them. When you see, Charlton Heston going through the ocean, and it opened, and then it closed over the bad guys or the soldiers. When it comes down to it, when it comes down to your last breath, Tom, I don't think there's too many people that don't reach out for the divine in some way.
Well, I think the divine is there at that moment.
It's always there.
It's undeniable to people at that point.
Right. Surprise!
Yeah. Well, yeah. Surprise! Here we are. Oh my God, you're real.
I just think that's it. But there's a new dimension, and that dimension, the 5th dimension, where this amber energy is coming from, has offered something new to us, which is in this book. It's in a couple of my books, page 132, and it's called Accessing the Powerful 5th Dimension Circle of Light. And this you do in your meditation, and your third eye opens, and you picture this circle of golden amber light, and you put 2 chairs in it, and you sit in one chair, and the person that you're angry with and upset with, you put in the chair across from you. It can be your father, it can be your son, it can be your husband, it can be anybody. And you have a mental conversation with them, and you can tell them off. You can say anything you want, but then you fill everything with light, and you just watch the whole emotional issue dissolve, and then you can feel true love. Every single upset is supposed to bring us a lesson. They have this saying, nothing happens by accident.
Right.
So everything has its lesson. So if you do the question, how did I bring this to myself? What is the lesson here for me? The natural law is, if you know what the lesson is, then the aggravation will stop.
Exactly.
And it does.
Yeah, I've seen it happen in my own life.
Give us an example.
Oh, geez. Well, I used to be a speedster on the road. I mean, I used to drive like a madman. I mean, I would, everywhere I went, it was pedal to the metal, and I was constantly getting pulled over. Well, I was, I continued on my path, and I started really understanding who and what Tom was, and making my way. I started getting to a place where I knew that my path was becoming clearer. And it's just all that sort of thing that used to plague me, the worrying about getting pulled over. And most of the time I got pulled over was because I was worrying about getting pulled over. Looking in my rearview mirrors, I went by an on-ramp to see if there was a cop.
You probably drove a red car.
And And those things I just kind of melted out of my consciousness, and as that happened, it just it was just like amazing. I haven't been pulled over in so long, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it's not ridiculous, but you know what I mean. I mean, and that's a real crude example for what we were trying to do here, but you get my point.
Yeah, driving the car is like driving your ego. You know, you have to be in power. You got to pass everybody. You got to get in front of it. But then you realize that you're in a machine, that it's a gift, that you're very blessed to be able to be in it, and honored that the state gave you the license to drive, and that it's to get you from one place to the other. It has a function. And the minute you kind of look at things that way, then it calms down. Of course, as I told you before, I got hit head on by a drunk driver. If nothing, that'll slow you down.
Yeah,
that slows you down.
Yeah.
And it did.
The urgency seemed to melt out of my life.
Right.
I mean, just tons of things have melted out. The worry, all sorts of things have changed for me in the last 30 years. So
you developed trust.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a prime example of, you know, what you focus on, you create. So
yes,
Tom,
it is
Tom's
true.
focusing on not getting a ticket. Well, you know, all the universe is hearing is ticket. You know, not I don't want a ticket.
Yeah, the universe is not here, no or not. You're absolutely right.
Right. Okay, so we're rapidly approaching the top of the hour here, and would you please share with our listeners out there where they can get a hold of you and all of your books?
Sure. I'm Elizabeth Joyce, and I'm in the New York City metropolitan area. I actually live in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, and my 24-hour answering service is 201-934-8986. I do readings all around the world. I also write out your karma and do your astrological chart for you. And my books, this is my 8th book. I'd like to give the title of each one.
Oh, sure.
And the books you can get either at Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, or at www.new-visions.com. The first book I wrote was called Psychic Attack, Are You a Victim? And this is all about the psychics that are irreputable, that take advantage of you, some of the things they do, and some of the things they say to you, and it gives you warning. And the reason that I wrote this book is because I went to court 4 times with 4 different clients to help them get hundreds of thousands of dollars back that they had been scammed out of. In that book also is about ghosts and entities and how to stop humans from sending you bad energy and what to do. It talks about why you don't ever have to have a curse put on you and how to prevent all that. The second book I wrote was Ascension, Accessing the Fifth Dimension, and I started that in 2010. That was really quite a book. I broke down every dimension, the 3rd dimension, the 4th dimension, the 5th dimension. I wrote about them. I wrote about what they are very thoroughly and what gifts you get in each one and how to recognize where you're at. What dimension am I in? Am I in the beginning of the 4th? Am I in the middle of the 4th? Or at the end of it? Maybe I'm coming into the 5th. I don't know. But as you read the book, you will process. And there's a lot of other things in that book as well. There's a review of Atlantis, where we used to be. And there's all kinds of meditations to help you grow rapidly along the path. Then I have an identical twin, as you said, but she passed away in 2013, and I was kind of not in a good space. So I took all of my classes and I put them in 3 books, opening up to your intuition and psychic sensitivity, book 1, book 2, and book 3. And they have chapters and they have all kinds of exercises for each subject in metaphysics. And book 1 is great for teenagers or great for people that are just beginning to learn about metaphysics. So those 3 are together. They're a trilogy, and and it just tells you how to grow. It also helps you establish a meditative practice. Tells you how to do that. Then the one I wrote last year was called Seeding and Nurturing the Garden of Your Soul, and that just fell into my body. It just fell, and I heard, this is new information. It's renewed information. It's been written about before. I have all the natural laws in the back of the book. I tell you the rights and wrongs, because we don't have any more discipline on this planet. A lot of people are not taught right from wrong. They're not even taught Emily Post anymore. People are just shooting from the hip. And I was told by Spirit, by my invisible guides, that this is something very necessary and very important to get out to the world. So I wrote that book, and I really love it. And the covers of my book are done by an artist by the name of Jim Warren. He's in Florida. And the cover of Garden is 7 hearts, and there's 7 hearts in the picture. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful cover. And then this year, I wrote the new spiritual chakras and how to work with them. And there's more after that, because there's a whole new form of healing coming in as well.
Fantastic, fantastic. Well, guys out there listening, I would urge you to pop on over to her website and check this stuff out. And your books are all available through your website and on Amazon. And are they out in the bookstores also?
You can order them from the bookstores.
Ah, okay. There we go.
Some carry them, but most of them you order through Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and my website right now.
Fantastic. All right, guys. Well, we are going to take a short break, and if you're out there listening on one of those other media formats, the iTunes, the Vimos, the YouTubes, or wherever this lands, and you want to listen to Hour 2, I would urge you to go over to www.the100thmonkeyradio.com, where you can hear the second hour of the show and 6 years of other audio that's in our archives there. So we'll see you guys on the other side. Condemnation without investigation is the height of ignorance.
Change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change.
Namaste, my friend.
All the problems that divide the world are black and white. In the races, you know we've got to fight. So we must stand for love. You've got to take a stand. You've got to take a stand for love. A stand for love. For love. A better way, so we must take a stand for love. Stop the violence, come together, make a better day. Stop the hatred, love each other, it's the only way to take a stand for love. You've got to take a stand. do.